What's up, guys? We're here for another preview show, week 3. As always, we are joined by the Morales brothers, the best dynamic duo in sports. How you guys doing?
Good.
Been great. Thanks for helping us. Having us.
No problem. How was your guys' weekends? You guys do anything fun?
Not well. We help my mom move.
That's right.
If that's fun. But, yeah.
Everyone has to do that at some point.
Yeah.
Help our mom move to with our aunt. So yeah.
Hey, that just shows how good sons we are. We always help our parents when we need them.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, give him that trombone, dude. Or not trombone, applause for that. That's awesome.
Watch a lot of football on TV.
College football.
College football.
Yeah.
What do you think about that Alabama game? When have you ever seen Alabama ever lose that bad?
They didn't look confident at all. They looked like they were just shell shocked being at that in Florida State.
Yeah.
It didn't look like an Alabama team.
So should they fire the coach?
That's what everybody's saying in Alabama right now. I don't know. Give him some time. If they lose another 2 games, I think he's probably not going to last.
That's how we lost Jed.
Yeah.
Domino.
Yeah, it's not a good time to be an Alabama fan right now.
Yeah.
But kind of moving on to something that has a bigger picture for all of us right now. You wrote this article about my uncle, Oscar Romero, who's transitioning to the next part of your journey in life. Tell us a little bit about what that fundraiser is and just also how the community can get behind Oscar Romero.
Well, I got a message from one of the coaches up in Phoenix who's running that. It's called the Team Emery Classic. Got a message yesterday that it's going to be held at Tempe Diablo Stadium Thursday through Sunday. It's a tournament, and actually Tucson High's in it, and so is Nogales. Because I think Favela is pretty close to Oscar as well. So they're going to be in it. Saturday there's a fan fest that goes on. It's from 6 to 9. There's different activities that fans can do. All the proceeds go to Oscar and Desert Vista player who has leukemia, a former Desert Vista player. Yeah. So those proceeds, everything is raised for their families and for any kind of support for treatments or what have you.
Yeah. If people aren't at the tournament, is there a way they can donate as well?
I don't have a link for that yet, but I can put one up there. But he didn't supply me a link for that. But there are going to be ways they can provide support that I'll add to our website, allsportstucson.com.
Perfect.
I just got the information about the tournament itself and the event that's going on there at Tempe Diablo.
Yeah. Perfect. Guys, make sure you guys go support. Many of you guys know Oscar Romero is my uncle. It's one thing about being a Romero, you never give up. You always keep fighting. This is exactly what he's doing. Prayer goes out to my family, Aunt Joanne, Oscar, Alana, all the girls out there, his daughters. Love you guys. But now let's start getting into something fun. It was Marana versus South Point, the heavyweight matchup of the season. I'm trying to get used to calling you Andy, but I'm so used to calling you Mr. Morales. Tell us what you thought about that game.
Well, first of all, Oscar, I think, has 1/4 or more of the victories in Tucson High's history.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
488, right?
And that goes back to 1900.
Oh, yeah.
18.
Tucson High's the oldest high school in Tucson.
Yeah, 1990 was his first year coaching.
That's 1890 or something.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. Yeah, I was at the Marana South Point game. Last year was huge because Marana beat South Point, which kind of ruined South Point's year because they had to play Mason Mountain View in the second round because of PowerPoints.
Yeah.
If they beat Marana, they would have got a top 4 seed probably. But it also made Marana, it kind of ruined Marana's year too because Marana had to go to the Open Division.
Right.
If Marana loses at South Point, they probably win the 5A state championship. So now, which is kind of ironic, right?
Yeah.
So here we are again, and Marana gave South Point everything they can. Actually led twice in the game. Lots of penalties, as we talked off the air. Marana's long snapper was injured, so they had to go for 2 points twice, failed. They had to go for it on 7 seconds left from the 10-yard line instead of kicking the game-winning field goal. They had to go for it on 4th down because they didn't have a punt. They couldn't punt. So everything worked in South Point's favor in that sense, but still Meyer threw for almost 200 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, Colton Meyer
had a great game. And Avalar had a good game for South Point. So it was a classic. It was unfortunate it was right away. Just a big powerhouse Tucson game.
Yeah. You know, when it was playing out that last quarter, you saw that Matthews got the sack, and it looked like Miranda's offense was coming. In your opinion, did it seem like to you that Miranda was going to take the victory at
Oh,
that
I
point?
thought for sure Miranda was going to score a touchdown because Meyer raced down the field 70 yards in what 80 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they're
and
able to do that.
South Point couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
Penalties or giving up in receptions, and he was tackled at the 5.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing happened in the Buena game, right? But yeah, you just had a feeling that South Point was not going to stop. And Avalar actually in the drive previously, he scrambled for 18 yards, I think, to give them
Yeah, on third
another
and
set of
17.
downs. If he didn't do that, Miranda does win because if he had another 30 seconds, Meyer they win the game. But I believe there was a sack.
Yep.
So, Miranda's defense gave Meyer the ball back. You're right, that last 3 minutes was probably the most exciting part of the game.
Yeah, just seeing how the crowd erupted. And even when the game was over, it was amazing seeing, like, oh my God, this is Tucson football now.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I was there, like, you'd have your South Point versus Tucson, not that much hype.
Yeah.
But the crowd erupted. South Point's fans are going crazy. It was crazy seeing South Point, like, their guys starting to move forward to the Miranda sidelines. I was like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, and Ryden, he looked like he was trying to, Pat Ryden, the South Point coach, was trying to gather himself to what to say. And he basically just said, screw it. And he said, we won. And I think he had a speech later in the locker room, but
Yeah.
the players went crazy. And Miranda, to their credit, they understood, hey, that was a great loss. Some people don't like to lose, but in PowerPoint situation, losing to a 6A power like that, Miranda's season is pretty much set now.
Yeah, especially being a 5A team going up playing against
their
6A team.
destiny is, as long as they keep going, they're set. They need a long snapper.
Yeah. So other than the long snapper, 'cause that's what ultimately played into them not being victorious because they couldn't kick a field goal, they couldn't punt.
They couldn't go an extra point.
Yeah. So what do you think the keys to victory for the next season?
They,
Next game coming up and the rest of the season.
They can't have stupid or dumb movement penalties, which is kind of on the coach too. Holding penalties. You were there, right?
Yeah.
It was like flag.
Oh yeah, we counted. There was a time where there was 4 plays in a row. Flag, flag.
And there were some things where I'm surprised were called. But you see, it was the first game for some of those officials because it was the first week for big schools.
Mm-hmm.
So, so you had Marana, South Point, and the officials working things out. So they have to take care of their mistakes, better reads on offense. Defense was clicking, I think, for both teams.
Yeah.
Anytime
you get 2 quarters without anyone scoring, your defense is on point.
I think there were interceptions. There were a couple of fumbles, right?
Yes.
So what we're going to see now is they both have to cheer for each other to win out. And that's the way it works. So we'll see now. Last year, Marana, as I mentioned, beat South Point. Let's see what happens with South Point beating Marana, how it plays out.
Yeah, man, plays out another way where Marana's on top this time.
Yeah, I
In
mean,
the 5A division.
it's crazy to think if Marana loses to South Point last year, they're the 5A
Yeah.
champions.
Is there still, like we talked about it before a little bit, but do you think there's a route for both these teams to end up in the open division, or is that kind
No,
of
5A is not allowed to go in the open anymore.
Oh shoot.
So it's only 6A, and it's up to 12 teams.
For
And if
the
you
6A?
lose,
Yeah.
if you lose, you go back to the 6A tournament, like basketball.
Yeah. They have
So-
like a play-in type of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And 5A is 24 teams now, so
Oh, that's a gauntlet.
So plenty of chances.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now going to 5A, we had Mountain View versus Tucson High, which in my opinion that was an upset almost of the year. No one was really thinking Mountain View would even have a chance against Tucson High coming for the game last year. Tell us a little bit about that game.
He thought they had a chance preseason.
Yeah, Mountain View's defense, like we talked about last week. If you have a good defense, you have a chance in any game, and that played out in this one because Tucson High couldn't really get rolling. They couldn't get any running game going, and I think that put a lot of pressure on Mesa, who had a good game, but the offense never really clicked. And Mountain View, it was kind of like a stalemate. Both teams were kind of evenly matched, so they couldn't really. The defense really controlled the line of scrimmages, and I think. it went down. It went down to the wire. That and went to overtime, and it was a heck of a game. There was a lot of great games last week. I went to the Buena Siena game. Went on the last play, the last 1 yard line.
Yeah.
But the Tucson High Mountain View game was really a battle of two really good defenses, and if they play that like 10 times, I think each team would win like 5 times. They looked that evenly matched.
Oh dang.
Yeah, I was impressed with Mountain View's quarterback Ian Brin. He only passed for like 110 yards, but he completed 8 of 11, so he was efficient. And that's how Mountain View is going to win games, because their passing game has never been dominant. It's been their running game, and the quarterback did enough to offset Tucson High's defense to a degree, and I think that played a factor. That there were no turnovers really. I think the quarterback fumbled one time, no interceptions for Brent. So I think overall, I think it was an upset, because Tucson High's coming off such a high, and they won their first playoff game since 1971. Everybody was talking about Tucson, the resurgence of Tucson High, and it still could happen. I mean, they could beat South Point Friday.
Yeah.
Because of that home, and they're coming off a loss, and I'm sure Zach's going to get them ready because he coached at South Point. So, but yeah, I watched the whole game film of the Mountain View Tucson High game, and it was just nobody can really get a big play off.
Yeah.
And the defenses controlled it, and I was really impressed with Jason Pogue, their linebacker, their middle linebacker, Mountain View. He's going to be somebody who's going to play in college, and on the other side, Dominic Drow for Tucson High, and some of their defensive players. That was a really good football game. Came down to an extra point.
Yeah.
An extra point was blocked by Mountain View, and they also blocked a field goal. So Mountain View made some big plays on the special teams. That's for sure. That was the difference.
Yeah, special teams and defense was the key right there.
Yeah.
Tucson High is going to be another marquee matchup. Tucson High versus South Point as we start getting into Week 3 previews.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what we got to look forward to for that game, and the keys of victory for South Point and Tucson High to come out victorious.
It's going to be controlling the deep passes for Meyer. I went to the game last year at Tucson High, and Marana, they had Desmond Roebuck, and he was just all over the place. Sean Roebuck had a great game, right? You guys saw him play, so you know what he's capable of. So they're going to try to do the same thing they did last year against Tucson High. They won pretty big against Tucson High last year. Marana did.
Yeah. It's South Point and Tucson
South
High.
Point. Okay, let's go to South Point. Matthew Avalar. Remember we talked last week? I thought he would be the player of the game, and I don't know. Was he the player?
It was AJ Gore was the Fiesta Bowl player of the game.
Gory.
Yeah, RJ Gore. Yeah, RJ Gore.
RJ Gory. Yeah, he's some of the U of A is recruiting.
Yep.
So I'm interested to see how that Gory versus Spivey matchup is going to be like, because those are two sophomores, right?
Yep.
Two guys who are going to be recruited by D1 schools. So I'm interested in that.
RJ's actually a junior.
He's a junior. Okay, well these are two guys who are up and coming. So it's going to be, I think Tucson High has to just leave last week behind them and learn from it, and hopefully that loss will kind of spur them to realize, hey, nothing's given. I think they probably believed a lot about what things were going to continue from last year, and Mountain View is better than what people thought. So I think they just have to reset and know that South Point, this could be a good barometer for them as a bounce back game. Even if they take South Point to the fourth quarter, I think that'd be a good sign that they're going to improve as the year goes on. If they let South Point control things, then who knows what the mindset will be off an 0-2 start.
Yeah, so that's a hard way to come back and still get a playoff run out of that.
Of course, they haven't started region play. Region doesn't mean as much because it's all power points. Mm-hmm. But if let's say they go 0-2, but they go on a huge winning streak, they can be right back in the playoffs and have a good chance in the 5A because there's no open division.
Yeah.
So it's still very early. I mean, you don't want to place too much, importance on one game, but you don't want to start 0-2 and have a bad game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of unfair to the players' development to have these huge games right away.
Yeah,
South
I mean,
Point,
you
Marana,
see some
Tucson
other
High,
teams.
South Point.
Yeah, you see some other teams like CDO that will play in Phoenix against a kind of a lower end team to get their momentum going, kind of what CDO did winning that 48-0 last week.
Yeah, there were some big games. I mean, Buena Cienega was bigger than what people thought because the way
Yeah.
that game ended. Buena, I was their defense was solid in some points, but then they let big plays go. So I'm kind of interested to see how that defense is gonna come around. Cooper Cross is amazing. That guy should be looked at by D1 schools. The way he controlled some of the plays. The last possession from Cienega, Julian Hanley, he was tackled at the 1 yard line. It was Cooper Cross being able to trip him, and then T.J. Walker, the other linebacker, was able to tackle him. Just a foot away from that could have been going to overtime, but
Yeah.
they stopped him. And in each play of that last sequence there, where Cienega ran the ball, it was Cooper Cross in each tackle. It involved either solo or assisted. So that guy's somebody to look out for as we.
So rising star. Then he's people.
Oh,
his
he's
name's
amazing.
It's amazing how much 1 yard can mean at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Remember one point between CDO and Micah Mountain.
Yeah.
Helped CDO win a state championship. The
Well,
blocked extra point.
That was the block extra point.
I
That's
mean,
special teams
it's
again,
just
yeah.
it's just game of inches can make a difference.
Yeah. You gotta make everything count. Well, you go back to the South Point game in Marana. If they would have executed just that extra point the first time they got the touchdown and one of those 2-point conversions, they win.
Yeah.
Little things mounted big things. So
Yep. And then now, kind of going back to Tucson versus South Point, what are keys to victory for South Point and making sure they start the season 2-0?
I think for South Point, it just I'm kind of surprised that Race Alvarez didn't play that much. Or if
Yeah, he was in for only one play.
Yeah, so I think now that you played Avalar, I think they should stick with Avalar. You don't want to have this after doing that, and then have that kind of a confusion, right?
Yeah.
So I think if Avalar comes in, does what he did last week, I think they have a good chance. I think it's going to be that. It's going to be basically South Point's offense being able to do what Mountain View's offense basically did. They were efficient. You have to be efficient against that defense, and I think if they do that, if Avalar plays his game and be able to run the ball, Eon Bryn didn't really run the ball that much, so Avalar will have that bonus to be a dual threat. I think he's going to be the key again, just like he was against Marana.
And the only reason he came out is because his helmet came off.
Oh yeah, after that rush.
Yeah.
He's another underclassman too, right? He's a junior.
Yep, junior. No, he's getting some looks from schools as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been watching him for the last 3 years, so it's kind of cool to see him grow up a little bit. One thing we talked about before is last year he kind of struggled in the fourth quarter against Marana.
Mm-hmm.
This time it was like a different kid out there. He was ready for the situation.
Oh yeah, it probably give him the keys to the car. He probably has really confident now. He doesn't have to worry about coming in for a couple plays and then going out, or playing one series and then sitting out. You know what I mean? That can be hard. I mean, I'm sure Alvarez probably feels like he wants to be out there, but it's South Point coaches created that situation with two quarterbacks, so they should know how to handle it, and I think they have for South Point to win. And we were just talking about before, the quarterback coach there is Rody Santamaria. Now he's Pat Nugent's son, and he was at Micah Mountain as the quarterback coach. Now he's South Point's quarterback coach.
South Point has always seemed to have a controversy with two quarterbacks.
It's happened like the last 5 years, right?
It's kind of like a bad, great situation in a way.
Yeah, they've had quarterbacks transfer because of that.
Yeah.
We've had parents complain to us during games
Oh shoot!
that their kids should be playing like it was Little League.
Nothing like parents. Okay.
During games.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It's awesome that you mentioned Micah Mountain because they play CDO this week. Mr. Andy, give us a little bit of a rundown of that game.
Well, it's always been a tough battle. Obviously, Dustin Peace is no longer at CDO. Scott McKee's there now. If people remember, Scott and
Saguaro at Saguaro.
No, Dusty and Pat Nugent, mentor.
Yeah.
So that's all gone now. So, but still, CDO for some reason has Micah Mountain. It's chemistry. Has Micah Mountain. I don't want to say number, but competitiveness.
Yeah.
So,
Did they play last year as well, or?
Yeah, they were in
Yeah.
the same region last year.
Okay.
They're in different regions now because CDO's up in the 5A.
CDO gained 250 kids, and Iron Ridge lost 250 kids. That's why they.
Oh shoot!
One of the reasons, and for all sports, not just football.
Yeah.
And what CDO did last week kind of surprised me, even though they played a lower team.
Trevor
Yeah,
Brown.
48-0 defense was
Yeah,
unstoppable right there.
And then Micah Mountain, I still, even though they're defending champions and you have to beat the defending champions, they lost so much. 20.
They did, but
They only
I was-
lost. They
I
only
was
have
at-
one starter coming back.
I was at their game. I went to their Poston Butte win. They went 41-8, and they totally dominated Poston
Yeah.
Butte. I don't know how good Poston Butte's going to be,
So-
but they're generally a good program.
Which means
But-
their second team last year must have been incredible.
Yeah, Jaden Christ, he came in and he just took control of the game. The quarterback passed for 200 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions.
So I'm hoping
Jeez.
it's
Yeah.
not a blowout, but I'm hoping it's a great game. But obviously you have to tip your hat to Micah Mountain, but they are down the road, right?
Yeah, Jay Campos is
Yeah.
coaching. The guy
Oh, yeah,
won,
and
won
you
4
have Jay
state
Campos,
championships.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
They still have an all-star lineup for coaches as well, with Richard
Oh.
Sanchez being there too.
Yeah, I saw him there. Brett Darling's the defense coordinator. That guy is amazing. The defense didn't skip a beat. I think Poston Butte had like 60 yards rushing. They couldn't
Yeah.
get anything going on the
Oh
ground.
shoot!
And they did. They lost they lost Leon from last year. They lost a couple other linemen. I think they lost a lot of their linemen.
Yeah, I think it was in total it was like 28 seniors or something.
Yeah.
yeah, we were talking on the sideline of the South Point game that conceivably if South Point has a bad year, which they might not, you might see South Point, Marana, Micah Mountain all in 5A, and that would be like in 2 years. That would
Yeah.
be incredible.
I think Micah Mountain is headed towards 5A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Micah Mountain, they're 4A Keno, right?
But if they keep winning, they're going to be 5A regardless.
Yeah.
Mainly because the Phoenix won't allow. they'll want to move them up to 5A, so they have to pay the 5A powers in Phoenix.
Yeah.
I think South Point's going to stay at 6A though, because they would have been moved down by now. I think
Yeah.
they see them as that kind of a program where it's always
Yeah.
going to be at 6A.
It just depends on
Yeah.
if 1 6 and 5 year or whatever is probably all they need to move down to 5A. But we need a 6A team down here. Maybe they move around up to 6A.
Yeah, after the last 2 seasons.
I mean, Yuma Catholic went from 3A to 5A like that.
Yeah. Yuma Catholic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. You know, you talked about how many seniors Micah Mountain lost, and it kind of being last year's second string team. Who are some of the young kids that we didn't see last year that did great in the game opener this year that we need to keep an eye out for?
In the Micah Mountain game,
Yes, sir.
Jaden Christ, he was behind Jaden Thorson at quarterback. He's a dual threat guy too. He can run, he can pass.
He's the guy that came in the state championship game last year and took a knee
Right.
so that who was the injured player?
Connor, can't remember his last name.
So that
His
he
first
could,
name's Connor.
so that he can play it down.
Yeah. Well, because
Oh, shoot.
he had a season-ending knee injury,
The
and
first
but he
game.
suited up, and
So he had the smarts
Yeah.
to take a knee.
he was wide open. Nobody was in front
He
of him.
could have
so
scored a
he's-
touchdown
yeah.
easily. But he's a smart quarterback. Go ahead. Who else?
Yeah. For Micah Mountain, Broden Schmidt, he's a returner. He had a big game in the state championship game. He was really dominant as a middle linebacker. Overall, I mean, it was like a team defense type thing. Every player rose up, and they lost a lot of players on defense. So, like everybody that played on defense last week was a backup for the most part.
Yeah.
And they held Poston Butte to like 60-some yards rushing. So I really like Broden Schmidt. I like Riley Carson, a defensive back. He's a leader, and he can do a lot of things. He can punt the ball, kick the ball. He's a receiver also. So they have some good leadership guys like that too to work with the younger guys that haven't done a lot of experience. So
And they had to practice against the first string last year.
yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. I would love to see those games.
So I would anticipate they're going to have a good game against CDO. I really like that CDO went up and took care of business at Trevor Brown. It's 49-0. It wasn't like a 21-14 win or something like that.
Yeah.
They took care of business, and it's at CDO. So, and that's a rivalry. I'm glad they're still playing it, even though they're in different regions.
Yeah.
Different.
Because Micah Mountain, they're at 15 in a row now, right?
Micah's 15 in a row because they won 14-0 and they won their first game.
Yep.
Another guy who never played football before, Evan Wheeler. He's a receiver. He's more of a pitching prospect. He played his first football game in his life, and he had over 100 yards receiving.
Oh, jeez.
He's a great athlete.
Hey, just saying that shows that baseball players, we're athletes.
Yeah, this guy's an athlete. And,
Usually quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
and you know, kudos to the Micah Mountains baseball coach for letting him play football.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah, that's a risky
So,
thing, especially if
yeah.
it's your ace going out there.
That whole school, every team just got good quick.
Yeah.
Every
'Cause they're-
sport.
they've been around for what, now 4 or 5 years?
The
this is their
varsity,
5th year as varsity.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, because I know their softball program's doing amazing as well.
Volleyball, track. Track won a state championship.
Girls wrestling, right?
Yeah, girls wrestling is right there.
Jeez.
It's just crazy.
Which Sanchez helps coach.
Basketball.
Yeah.
They're the fastest moving team in the state right now.
And they've
Well, look at
kinda-
their facilities. Look at their.
it's
Oh, yeah,
like
they're
a
s-
big
they're-
college. It's like a good junior small college. They've overtaken Cienega and Empire and Poly Andrade. What's it called?
Yeah. It's a great campus, and I'm happy you mentioned Cienega because Cienega will play Desert Edge this week as well. Give us a little rundown of that matchup too.
Siena, it's going to be difficult. Desert Edge won the championship last year, the 5A state championship, and they're coming off of a victory. I know they have a really good quarterback who's a dual threat also, and like a 1,000-yard rusher on their team.
Oh dang!
So Cienega, they went up against a really good Buena team, and now they have to play another really top-notch team. At least it's at home, but you know, and I'm glad that coaches schedule these kind of games because
It's a difficult schedule.
you hear a lot of like teams go 8-2, 7-3, and then they don't make the playoffs. Why? Because they don't have points.
Yeah.
So now if you go, I'd rather go 6-4 or 7-3 and make the playoffs than go 8-2, 9-1, and either not make the playoffs or barely make it.
What do you want, like a little warm up game just to start off the season?
Well, yeah,
with?
it's two big games to start
Yeah.
the season, and
That's
Well,
a scheduling mistake,
yeah.
but there's probably nothing to do about it.
yeah, and then Buena, you know, they play at Skyline. Skyline's average, and then they play ALA Gilbert North,
Yeah.
Tucson High, Marana, and Mesa Mountain View.
At that point, you just want to be one game over 500. At that point.
Yeah, I mean, and they have Mesa Mountain View and ALA Gilbert North.
I
going
think
to
this all
Sierra
came
Vista.
about because remember Walden Grove went 7-3 like 4 years
Yeah,
ago,
and then well, look at
but they didn't
Saudita
play
last year.
anybody, so they didn't
Yeah.
make the state playoffs.
Look at Saudita last year; they went 8-2 and didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's why he scheduled. Jake Allen scheduled a little higher this year.
Yeah. Oh shoot. Yeah, that's. I mean, just thinking baseball wise, we would start the season off just kind of like your Pueblos, your Choyas a little bit. That way we get going a little bit.
But
now,
in baseball, softball, you get to do a tournament.
yeah, the
You
warm up
test out
tournament.
your arm
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Can't do that in football. Although
No.
I think flag football is going to have a tournament, but you can't. People might get hurt. So,
Yeah. No, definitely. So now we kind of move on to the Pueblo versus Sunnyside. I always loved watching that when I was growing up. When my dad was the principal at Pueblo, it's a rivalry game that those teams don't really like each other that much.
No, and I remember covering the last one in 2019. Brandon Sanders was the coach for Pueblo.
Yeah. Shout out to Sanders. That dude's awesome.
Yeah. And they won. Pueblo won at Sunnyside, and I remember standing behind him and where he was talking to the players, and he made a big deal about the South Side, about claiming the South Side championship because I think the week before they beat Choya. So he's like, "Oh, we own this part of Tucson. We own this."
Well, they call it the Warrior Block for a reason. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So they've made a big deal about that, and it's the first time since 6 years that they haven't played each other. So that I'm surprised at that because they're two traditional programs. You know, long time
Southside.
South Side, yeah. So, but Sunnyside and Desert won on the road last. They went up to Phoenix. They won, and they won pretty handily in both games.
yeah, who were some of the guys that stuck out last week for Sunnyside?
Raymond Duarte, who's a senior, and he's a dual threat also.
Is he the grandson or son of the Duartes, or from the '80s? Do you know?
Could be. I'm not
Could,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a big name back then. Jesus Sierra, I know that Desiree had a Sierra like a couple years ago. When they might be related. He had a big game. He had 9 tackles, two for loss, caused a fumble, recovered a fumble. So these are young guys that you know that Romac has been talking to me that they're so young that now they're starting to get their chances. and they're really coming through. Chris Gallego, their linebackers combined for 33 tackles last week.
Oh,
Chris
jeez.
Gallego, Anthony Sanchez, and Jesus Sierra. So they have a good defense. They held Vista Grande to 16 points. I know Vista Grande lost their quarterback from last year that passed for a lot of yards, but to go up there, season opener, Sunnyside had been kind of like in the middle of the road type program. So to kind of get that win, kind of restore some confidence.
Yeah.
And now they have to take care of Pueblo. Pueblo lost at Yunker, which is
Yeah, then there wasn't, when I was looking at it, there wasn't too many stats out yet for how Pueblo did, but they lost 28-18.
yeah, and that's like in Buckeye, I think that they had to travel to. Sly Lewis is a good coach, and he has a way of getting his players motivated no matter what. So I think he's going to use that warrior block a lot in the South Side, and they think they're better than you, all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
There's gonna be some good food at that game.
Oh, yes. That's the one thing about Sunnyside. They always have a party in the back, too.
Well, they make carne asada in the snack bar.
whenever I walk into the gym when the wrestling meet's going on,
Yeah.
man, it's
We'll do a live podcast there one day, and that way we get some of the carne asada.
so it'll be a lot of people there. I don't know, but you guys said it was packed at the Marana South Point game?
Yes,
yeah.
it was
It
packed.
was
It was
packed at the
overflowing.
Cienega Buena game, so it's good to see a lot of these people coming out to these games.
Yeah, kind of turning the table on Tucson football a little bit.
Yeah, and I think although there'll be a big crowd here, there'll be some other big crowds because there's some decent games this Friday again.
Yeah. One another decent game is the Catalina Foothills versus Ironwood. That was a good victory for Danny coming back in.
What's Danny's relationship to Oscar Romero?
It's his son-in-law.
Son-in-law. Okay.
Son-in-law.
Yeah.
So they're
Took their wedding photos.
oh shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gotta
I
be
was there for that one.
tough time. Yeah.
Yeah, so Danny, they were playing, if I'm correct, they're playing a Phoenix School as well, right?
This
This week they're playing North Canyon.
Yeah.
Right?
North Canyon.
Foothills
At home.
They could go 2-0 easily.
Yeah.
Which is a big
I think that
turnaround.
was another upset, kind of quote upset. This County Foothills beating Ironwood Ridge.
Yeah, you never know. Well, I'm sure Iron Ridge feels like it's an upset. You just never know what does at the athlete situation at Foothills is because they can't recruit. The school won't let them. So whatever's on campus is what you have.
Yeah.
And you can recruit for the band.
You can recruit for the band?
Oh yeah.
Well, they treat their band like.
Oh, how does that work out?
I don't know. It's not governed by AAA. I don't.
I remember
believe.
Jeff Skirns complaining about that to me, that they devote more time and energy to the band and giving more time
Yeah,
on the
if the
field.
band
than
needs
football.
like a tuba player,
Yeah.
they'll go get them. But you can't. If football, who's ever there is there. So what Danny's been able to do, he's been there before. It's it looks like I'm going to be there this Friday, just to see what's going on there.
Yeah. And then who were the highlights of last week's game for Catalina Foothills?
Let me see. They won 21-17. Looks like some of the Matthias Johansson, who's the linebacker, he had 12 tackles, a tackle for loss, and a sack. Looks like they had a good defensive game to keep Ironwood Ridge to 17 points. Jaden Martinez, Ironwood Ridge's quarterback, he only threw for 119 yards. He ran for more than 100, but it seemed like their offense didn't get on track. So I think their defense really shined on that. It was the difference. Because the quarterback didn't pass for a lot of yards for Catalina Foothills, Isaac Kirkendall.
Yeah.
He ran for about 70. Their leading running back rushed for only 53. So it looked like it was opportunistic. Field position, maybe some turnovers, gave them some good spots. So, so it was a good win for Daniel because he coached at Cienega, but he wasn't the head coach there at the
Yeah.
Cali Foothills. And anytime there's a transition like that, where even though he's been there before, you're the new coach, the players got to get back to your system. But for them to come out that strong in the first game to beat Ironwood Ridge, who's been a playoff type team the last 2 years,
Well coached.
Yep.
they're well coached.
And then they'll
that
play
was an eye opener.
they'll play Campo Verde this week as well, right?
Ironwood Ridge.
Yeah.
They play up at Campo Verde. Yeah.
Yep. give us a little rundown about that game, what we have to expect when
Well,
we see it.
Jaden Martinez, he was somebody I was really impressed with last year, and he had a good game. He only passed for 119 yards against Catalina Foothills, but he can always dictate what could happen in a game the way he plays. They did lose, and their names escape me. They lost two big time guys from last year's team, Iron Ridge, two guys that were dominant on defense and on offense as receivers and as defensive backs. I mean, they were everything to that team.
No, not Cooper.
Yeah, those guys were amazing. And then they lost a couple of defensive linemen who were really good too. So they lost some good pieces.
Yeah.
But there were, like I said, Dale Stott's a good coach. They had some good returners coming back. So I think they're just trying to find themselves and going on the road to Campo Verde. I don't know. At least they get 2 road games out of the way.
Yeah.
Just like Buena, they play the first 2 games on the road. So a lot of these teams they're playing the first 2 games away. That means there's some home games coming up.
Yeah, get a couple home games in a row after that.
Yeah, so I don't know. You don't want to start 0-2. That's a big thing. You don't want to start.
It takes
0-2.
3 more weeks just to get to 500.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a long time in football. I didn't even think about that. Like in baseball, you could do that in 3 games, 3 days, but football, that's 3 long weeks.
Yeah, it'll be 2 road games, and they barely lost to Catalina Foothills. If they can go up to Campo Verde and take care of business, all the better. But if they play tight and have a good game, it all depends on how. I think Jaden Martinez he's got to be the key for all their games really to how they play.
Yep. Keys to victory right there. I think we've covered about everything going on this week. One last question for both of you. What's your one player that's going to stand out the most? Your highlight player of the week?
Go ahead, Javier.
Well, the Rick Bodkin Memorial is going to include Desert View at Saguaro, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's a big game. Rick Bodkin is Steve Bodkin. He's the AD. He's a girls basketball coach at Saguaro. It's his brother. He died in a car crash when he was a senior at Saguaro, way back in the 70s, late 70s. So they always have this memorial game. It's the longest standing memorial game in the nation.
Oh, shoot.
For one person. And in that game, Desert View's 1-0. They went up to Desert Sunrise, I think, last week.
Yeah.
Won. So they're on the road again. The two road games. Saguaro won big at Empire. So I think that's another interesting game. And I think people are going to get used to this name, Jaylee Abraham. He's an all-around athlete at Desert View. I've known him for a long time because he was a student at Cayuga Intermediate when I taught there, and he's going to be one of those guys. I know he's only a sophomore, and I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but he's going to be one of those potential D1 type guys.
Yeah.
So I see him having just a breakout game. Could be at this weekend against Saguaro. I just keep remember that name, Jaylee Abraham.
Hey, you got to do it for Mr. Morales, dude.
Yeah. So if people are watching this probably know what I'm talking about. Like, oh yeah, I've heard about him before. So yeah, he's somebody I could be the player of a game in any game this year. So keep an eye on him.
Awesome.
For me, it's Walden Grove. I had to make sure what his position is. Defensive end tackle, Stephen Michael Valdez. He's the first FBS program commit for Walden Grove, and he's huge. So they took care of Sahuarita, but it had to be played over two nights because of the thunder down there.
Yeah. Oh, let's run that back. I forgot about that one. The Sahuarita for Walden Grove game.
Well, it's unfortunate for Allen at Sahuarita because they had that game under control.
Yeah, it was only like 8-6 in the second quarter.
Yeah, it was really close, and you know when you get a game going, and then it got suspended, so they had to play it the next night, and then Walden Grove just blew them off. So who knows what would have happened? They just kept that
momentum,
and it's like pitcher's doing great, but coach says, "No, we're gonna put someone else in." Next pitcher gives up 3 home runs. So it's yeah, but he's huge. He's someone to look out for. And like I said, it's crazy. It's their first Division I commit.
Yeah.
And Walden Grove is back. And kudos to the school district. They weren't going to let this game happen. They didn't want them to play each other anymore.
They haven't been wanting to do that for years.
Yeah.
I remember being an 8th grader, playing with somebody at the Rebels, and everyone would talk about how dangerous that game was.
Yeah. But there was nothing bad happened. They had to bring in bleachers. It was packed.
I'm surprised they played it at Walden Grove, not Saudita, because Saudita has a
You know, it's a
bigger
home
stadium.
game. You have
Yeah.
to, unless you give them your ticket,
Yeah,
your gate receipts.
Yeah.
but
Because Walden Grove made a lot of money that.
yeah. See,
That's
Valdez he's the first D1 FBS recruit. You said that right?
Yeah,
Because they've had D1 FCS.
yeah,
They had a linebacker who went to like Drake a couple years
yeah.
ago.
This is the first.
But yeah, this is the first one at New Mexico State,
And,
and he plays tight end too, DN tight end.
yeah, they had 8,000 times $10. Well, how much is it? So you're talking
Oh,
a huge
shit.
payday
Yeah.
for Walden Grove.
Oh yeah,
So, but it looked like 8,000. But yeah, he's my guy to watch. And it's going to shift. Colton Myers chasing 5,000.
yeah.
He's going for the record. No, it's too far.
Colton.
The record's
He's
too
got
high.
to be over. He's got to be close to 5,000, if not over it, right?
No, I mean, what's the record for Southern Arizona? He can't catch.
Oh, Cameron Hackworth.
Yeah, no.
He's got Cameron Hackworth had about 8,000 to 9,000,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, if I'm
Yeah,
not
he'd
mistaken.
have to have an incredible year.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's doable. I mean, every time I watch that kid, I'm like, that guy's amazing.
He's calm.
Yeah, he's super calm in the pocket. Nothing phases him.
Yeah, and after the game, he's like, "Yeah, let's talk." I'm like, "Whoa." Usually, the losing quarterback doesn't want anything to do with.
Yeah, that just shows how mature he is because he was, in all reality, he had the last play.
Yeah.
So.
And some of it's his upbringing. He's a Bourget cousin, but he's not really. But they've all been growing. They all grew up playing that
7-on-7.
7-on-7.
Yep,
They
Tucson turf.
know how to find their receivers.
Yep.
And that's one thing about 7-on-7 is quarterback receiver. That's the only thing you can take from it, I think.
Yep. That's awesome. Any last things I may have forgot to bring up or anything else?
Push Ridge.
Oh, Push Ridge started too.
Ooh, yeah.
Reloaded.
We
I
talked
don't
about that last
know.
week. How
Yeah.
amazing Kent Milton's doing over there. He's close to 50 wins in his 6th year.
Oh, shoot.
People don't realize that, but you think about it. That's almost like 8 to 9 wins a season.
Yeah.
And he's won a state championship already.
And we're told that Tombstone's back on. So it's
Yeah,
like-
Tombstone. They canceled their season, or at least it was reported that way, and now they're playing again.
Yeah,
They
so
didn't play
Oh,
with
shoot.
Team It's too.
Was it just kind of like not enough players for that, or?
It's like 16.
They had 20, I think, what I heard, 16 to 20.
Oh shoot! So they
Now
got
they-
guys
now they
playing
wanna-
offense,
now they wanna
defense, and
continue.
special teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're playing again. That's a big thing too. So yeah,
It's week 3. So
Right.
it's an incredible.
it's already 3-3.
Yeah.
It's just an incredible feeling on the sidelines. I know it's hard to describe.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to stop Jan. I'm like, because we haven't covered a football game in a year now, and then once we got on the sidelines at South Point, we're like, yeah, this is why we love our job.
Yeah.
Just feeling the atmosphere and everything going on.
Just being, and then once kickoff happens, I'm sure the players are worse, but once that kickoff, you're calm. But it's just the build up is incredible. For
Yeah. Yeah, and so everyone know me and Sabyan, we will be at the South Point versus Tucson High game. If you can, don't look at my hat, but I'm a neutral for that. This is for my Uncle Oscar right now. Yeah, we will be there. Where can they catch you guys at?
I'm gonna be at Foothills.
I'll be there. I'll be at Tucson High.
Awesome.
I don't know who your photographer is gonna be yet.
Not yet.
I'll throw my hat in there. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you. Real quick, I want to show everyone. I want to show my guests how awesome you guys are. Savion, go to that Instagram real quick. So if you guys can see real quick, that's how many people have been watching us the whole time.
Oh, good.
So the community is growing. It's growing strong. Thank you guys so much.
Hopefully, all of them go to a game Friday.
Yeah. Every single one of you guys go to the game this Friday. Enjoy it. Keep spreading Tucson football. Thank you for all the love and support. We'll catch you next week, Wednesday, 4:30. Be here. See you guys next time.